Hello, I'm Alex. I'm a professional wedding photographer and welcome back to my channel. I have been waiting for making this video for a very long time because a lot of people have been asking me, what gear do you use for your wedding industry, for your wedding photography? Well, this is the answer to all those questions because I wanted to show everyone what gear I'm using while I'm going to a wedding. Maybe not many of you know, but at a wedding I'm using the Sony A7III. I have two cameras, and as you can see, with one I'm filming with and the other one I'm having right here. I have two cameras, two Sony A7III as my main gear to go to weddings, and as a backup in case anything happens to both of my cameras, I'm always carrying around after me the Fuji X-E3 with the 18-55 2.8-4 lens. This is actually my main vacation camera and my to-go camera at any situation, but this camera goes into my bag, into my roller bag for the situation. And the most unfortunate actually situation that both of my cameras are going to be broken, and hopefully that's not going to happen very soon. Yeah, so I'm using Sony for about 1.5 years or so. I switched from Canon. I was using the 5D Mark III and 5D Mark IV after using 6D, and I wanted to have something new. I was needing for an upgrade, but I was needing for an upgrade in terms of size and weight, because I'm doing wedding photography for more than 4 years, I think. I'm doing professional photography for about 12 years, and I always carried around and with me a lot of gear, a bunch of gear that I was feeling the pain on my back, to be honest. And I remembered that 2 years ago I was about to go at a wedding and I was traveling by plane, and at the airport the lady over there at the desk at the check-in asked to see the weight of my bag, and I was carrying a backpack on my shoulders, and I was like, okay, why do you want to do that? It's a backpack, why do you care? Well, actually I'm going to tell you why. It is a weight limitation also on backpacks in airports, in airplanes, and that's up to 10 kilograms depending on the airline that you're using. So in my case it was maximum 10 kilograms, and when the lady weighted my backpack, it was having 28 kilograms, and I was carrying around one 5D Mark III and one 6D with 70 to 200, 24 to 70, 35, 50, 85, 135 and 105 100 millimeters macro lens, plus flashes, lights and many other accessories. And the lady was astonished. How many things can you put inside the backpack, man? And I was like, okay, this is the first time when I'm actually weighting my backpack. And starting from that point, question marks started to come into my mind. What the hell am I doing? Am I insane? At every wedding I'm carrying around this backpack on my shoulders and doing wedding photography at the same time. That means in 5 years or maybe earlier I'm going to need a back surgery, because that's the results on having every weekend 2 or 3 weddings a weekend, carrying that much weight on your back, on your shoulders. Well, yeah, these days we have solutions like roller bags that and that also is one of the things that I also changed into my photography business. I sold my backpack. I felt bad about that because I really enjoyed having that backpack, but I had to take a roller bag. I had to purchase a roller bag. And now I'm using a Manfrotto roller bag that is absolutely amazing, and it fits all my gear for 3 days of wedding and shooting, with accessories, with cables, with recharging accessories and everything, batteries and stuff. And that is amazing. I'm going to do also a review you about the Manfrotto bag that I have, and also about the gear that I'm using to edit my photos, because as you can see on my desk, there is a loop deck console that I'm using to do the editing. So keep up for the next videos that I'm going to do about that, and I'm going to show you some behind the scene and how I'm doing the editing, because I'm receiving a lot of questions on YouTube and on Facebook, on Instagram. How do you edit your photos, because they look amazing? Okay, yeah, it's, let's say, a few years of experience and testing and experiencing and actually reaching the style that I feel good about. But getting back to the weight, I switched to Sony just because I wanted to have lightweight gear, because I actually switched to mirrorless. No, I didn't care about Sony, Fujifilm or any other type of camera brand or stuff like that. But at that moment, I wanted to have a full frame sensor, and the only solution for us as photographers almost 2 years ago, it was only from Sony. You had a crop sensor from Fuji, but I wasn't happy about that. I wanted a depth of field of full frame. I'm a full frame photographer. I enjoy that. I don't even like the medium format, because I don't like that format. I like full frame format, so this is my thing. And Sony offered me the best solution at that moment. It was launching the Sony A7 III, and I said, okay, this is the moment and this is the camera that I need to buy. And after 1 month of selling all my gear, all my Canon gear, and I want to thank all the photographers, the amazing photographers that helped me to sell all my gear. Some of them purchased the cameras or the lenses from me, and they were really trusting me for giving them really good quality photography gear that I was caring about, because these cameras are my babies. I care about them, not as much as I care about my family, but I care about them. I'm cleaning them up, I'm using them really careful, because I want to keep all my gear clean and in good shape for any project that may arise in the future. So I switched to Sony A7 III, and at that moment the only lenses that I got on the market that I felt confident about was the Sigma 35mm Art 1.4, which was a Sony FE mount lens. It was a native lens. I was, I think, one of the first people in Romania that actually purchased that lens, and the sales consultant at the local shop asked me, are you sure about doing that? Why don't you go with the 28 f2? Well, actually, because I don't like to be limited only at f2. I wanted to have more than that, and I was loving the 35mm at 1.4 because I was having that lens on Canon, and I was using that very on a large majority of projects and wedding photography projects that I had. So the first lenses that I've got with the first camera, the first body camera that I've got is the 85 1.8, which I'm really proud of it. I'm still using it. It's one of the best buy you can have on the market for Sony, for portrait, for weddings, for anything. It's insanely fast, it's sharp, really nice bokeh, it's good quality lens, it's really lightweight. Yeah, it's the best 85 that you can get for Sony mirrorless cameras. And then the Sigma. But then actually 2 weeks ago I see the announcement that Sony is releasing the new 35 f1.8, and I was amazed because that lens was actually bringing me the absolute kit, lightweight kit that I was looking for from the moment I switched from Canon. And yeah, I had to sell my Sigma. I felt very sad about that because I really loved that lens, but that lens was really big. It was like, yeah, it was like this big, and I wasn't happy about that. It was heavy, it was metal made, it was really unbalancing my my strap on my shoulders, because I'm using a leather strap with 2 cameras attached, and my 85, which is really lightweight. With the Sigma, it was like, okay, I was going to the right side. Yeah, to the right side, not to the wrong side, of course. Yeah, so I had to sell my Sigma, and I just received 2 days ago the new Sony 35mm f1.8, which I invite you to see my other video that I did about it. I'm filming with it right now. It is a really nice quality, and you can tell about the quality of the video. It keeps focus really good, and I really enjoy the lightweight of this lens, the size of this lens. It is insanely sharp. It is insanely good for my weddings. I'm going to have a wedding tomorrow, and I'm going to put it at a harsh test. But what about my gear? So I have 2 bodies of Sony A7III. I have the 35 Sony f1.8, I have the 85 Sony f1.8, and I also have the Tamron 28-75 for those situations when I cannot have that much flexibility of moving around the wedding venue, and I'm using this, the zoom lens. And I also got the Tamron 17-28 as an ultra-wide lens. Until this lens, I was using a rented 16-35 G Master lens, which is absolutely amazing, but this lens comes to a price point where I said, okay, this is the lens that I have to purchase for my wide angle shots. I was thinking also about the Samyang 14 f2.8, and I'm still thinking about that lens that I'm going to purchase in the future. I don't know when, because it's not that a needed lens for me, but I really enjoy and I really like the 14mm perspective that lens offers for few frames that I got, or some architectural shots. Sorry about that, I'm not an English native speaker, as I said, and I really apologize for any mistakes that I may do during my videos. So I've got the 17-28, 28-75, 35, and the 85, plus the Fujifilm X-E3 with the 18-55mm. This lens is the perfect kit, at least for my taste, for my weddings, and I find this kit really amazing because it covers almost every scenario, every situation that you can think about. And I'm also thinking, because we all have been seeing the announcement from Tamron that they are going to launch a new telephoto lens, which the industry and all of us are hoping to see, a 75-210 f2.8 and 3 other prime lenses that they are launching for us. Because I'm into 50mm, I'm thinking to also purchase a 50mm, because some situations I would really love to have a 50mm lens, a wide aperture 50mm lens for like bridal portraits near the window, situations like that. The 35 may be a bit too wide, or the 85 may be a bit too narrow. So 50 would be the best choice for me. But I'm also thinking about the 55 front size, which is at a price point that is not very attractive, but the lens quality is amazing. The 50 1.8 for Sony, that's rubbish. Never buy that lens. I tried it on, I tested out. I don't want that lens. I also tried out the Sigma 50 f1.4. That's amazing. 1.4, whoa, that's really amazing. But the size and weight of that lens goes above my purpose on having a lightweight kit for my wedding photography. So at the moment, I think this kit that I've got is the best kit. But what about the lighting solutions that I adopted for the Sony lenses, the Sony cameras? As you can see over here, I'm using the Godox system. The Godox system provided me the best solution in terms of size, lightweight, and actually having the best quality in terms of lighting for any projects that I have. On a wedding, I'm using the TT350 on the camera bodies, also to control my V860 Mark II which I am using on the tripods, on the stands, the light stands, sorry, not the tripods. I'm putting 2 of these, and by the way, these are the V860s Mark II for Canon. And I have these for almost 3 years. I was using them on Canon, but because of the compatibility between the Godox system, you can use them on any camera. You can use them including on the Sony camera, but you have some limitations in speed. But putting them on the light stands and using the proper trigger, you can use them successfully. So I'm using this in the wedding venue to have like really nice light coming from other directions than the camera, and using the TT350 as the main light on the camera in case I need a light on the camera, and also to control my V860 flashes. In case of portraits, outside portraits, I'm using the X Pro S trigger for Sony, which is really amazing because you have a big screen, you have the possibility of controlling a lot of flashes, and I'm using also this with the V860 outside. I'm using a round dish that is very amazing for putting it on a speed light to have some really nice portraits, and it doesn't overpower the sun, but you can do really nice things with the V860. If you're guys looking for a better flash for outside situations, maybe an AD60 Pro or an AD600 Pro or an AD400 Pro or AD200 Pro, it would be a good solution for you. So I hope that this gear gives you a good idea of what you can do at a wedding. I'm going also to show you some wedding photography, some wedding images that I got during all the weddings with Sony gear, and I really hope that you would enjoy the results, and I really hope that you would take Sony in consideration and these lenses that I've got in consideration as a very good alternative for a kit, for weddings, for portraits, for any other projects that you might have. So until next time, thank you very much. I leave you with the images, I leave you with some presentation about the cameras, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers!